Aries. This is your September 2018 Tarot Fix. Thank you for checking out the reading, and I hope it's right on time for you. The Magician card showed up as I was shuffling and meditating on your fiery, I cannot say that word today, fiery cardinal energy, Aries, your ram energy. You obviously feel like you have all of the tools you need to manifest what you'd like to manifest at this time. I kind of remember this message coming up for you at the end of August or mid-August as well. But then again, the Magician card often represents Aries energy to me, so I may just be thinking of its normal energy. In any case, you're certainly in that space as you enter September. And it may be for some that we're talking about September 9th and on. Maybe for some that we're talking about the beginning of September there. If you don't feel like you're owning that energy yet, it's coming sometime in September. You are stepping into that space of realizing that you already have all of the tools that you need to accomplish whatever it is that you're trying to manifest at this time. Whatever goal you have set that means manifesting blank, something. So maybe that is a question that some Aries need to ask themselves at this time. What is it that you are truly trying to manifest right now? Do you have not even a specific vision, but an outline? Do you just have a vague sense that you need to work harder, you need to make more, you need to have more possessions, but without a real picture of what it is you're trying to create in the world, or where it is you want to go, or what it is you want to buy once you have the resources, the money you need to do so? It's a good question to ask. Once you know what it is you're trying to manifest, you can better understand whether or not you have the tools to go ahead and create it already. And if not, how to get those tools, what are they? And most importantly, if you understand or if you know what exactly, or more specifically, not necessarily in detail, but have a general idea at least of what it is you want to manifest, then you know what you're willing to do to create it, how far you're willing to go, what you're willing to sacrifice. That, in a sense, is one of the tools that's necessary. A willingness, a dedication, a commitment. The Queen of Swords, she sees the truth, is the first thing I will always say, I feel like, when I see the Queen of Swords. You can't get anything past her. I don't think it's wise to deal in absolutes, but you can't get anything past the Queen of Swords. It's just sort of how that's just a rule of thumb, or it's just a rule, a truth. So, at this time, Aries, as you're moving through the beginning of September, you are communicating to the outside world that they couldn't get anything past you if they tried, whether you mean to communicate that message or not. You have, at some point in your past, rather your distant past or your near past, either one, recent or distant, at some point you have come into this Queen of Swords energy that's representing you now, those Aries I'm speaking to, because you have learned how to make sacrifices, as we were just talking about. Specifically, probably cut people, energies away from you, out of your life, when they are no longer serving you, when they have betrayed you, when it's clear that they don't have your best interest at heart, when it's clear that they're not positive, healthy influences on you in your life anymore, or would even serve to harm you, whether intentionally or not, honestly, but normally intentionally. On a subconscious level, you are at rest. You are just resting and meditating and spending time alone and in gratitude, in solitude. You're healing, taking much needed time to catch up on meditation, reflecting on these situations I was just referring to where you've had to cut people out of your life, and again, showing gratitude for having made it out of those situations, away from those people, away from those energies. Probably also reflecting on those situations with some sadness, some acknowledgement that it's unfortunate and regretful that those relationships or situations had to be lost, but also grateful for the opportunity to see those people, those energies, for what and whom they truly were, and have the strength and ability and know-how to get them away from you before they did you more harm. And so when I say the Queen of Swords sees the truth, I also mean she can't avoid the truth. So she sees the truth of other people. At this time in September, you, Aries, see the truth of other people who are entering your space. Both old acquaintances and brand new acquaintances alike. You see what these people are bringing to the table, whether or not their intentions are pure, whether or not they mean what they're saying, what it is that they really want from you. If they have an ulterior motive, they can't hide it from you. But you also can't avoid the truth. In this state of meditation, in this state of reflection that you're clearly in subconsciously, in this state of rest mentally, where you're isolated to some extent, removed from most people, and not sharing your thoughts, not verbalizing what you're finding in reflection, mostly just ruminating on them, sitting on them, working through them mentally. When you come upon a truth, a harsh truth about yourself, your past, you can't avoid it. You can't not know what the truth is. You're in a state of acceptance, in a flow of acceptance. You're in a flow of seeing what is. You can't miss what's in front of you if you try. If you choose to turn your attention on something, to inspect it, the truth of it unfolds right now. Some of you are faced with a Capricorn who's very significant to you at this time. Others are battling an addiction or an attachment. An attachment to someone, perhaps to a Capricorn, that's possible. For those of you that's the case, this message is definitely for you. Or an addiction to anything. We'll get a clarifier. We will find out, Aries. whatever this unhealthy attachment is, be it to a person or an addiction to a substance, a habit, a thought pattern, a way of life, way of being, a food addiction, whatever it is, you are subconsciously, down deep, you're not trying to get away from it. You feel that it offers you some sort of fresh perspective. It suspends you between two things, but offers you some sort of fresh perspective. So for some of you, I was just about to say anyway, even without the Page of Cups coming out reversed, I was already going to say for some of you, we are talking about some sort of substance addiction. Some Aries. That you're in no hurry to get away from, because you need rest and relaxation. It may even be a prescribed medication, but you're addicted to it. You need rest, relaxation. You feel like it offers you that. It helps you. And you're in a lot of emotional and mental pain about the entities, energies that you've had to cut away from you in order to achieve this state of seeing truth in everyone and yourself plainly around you, and doing what needs to be done when people need cut away from you again, when action needs taken in accordance with those truths that you see. See, the Queen of Swords is burdened with the task of acting in accordance with those truths that she sees. Other people aren't. Other people who can't see the truth can't be held accountable for that truth that they cannot see. She can't help but see it. And so she has the responsibility to act in accordance with that truth that she sees. And yet, she has an addiction. It's you're faced with a Capricorn. Some Aries are faced with a Capricorn who you can't let go of. To some of you, to the extent that you're addicted to them. Some are addicted to something else. If you have any significant Pisces energy in your chart, or if you have Piscean tendencies in any way, in any sense, you're handling this addiction with that outlook, with that mindset, with that attitude. You are deciding to sink into maybe an altered state if it is a substance, an unhealthy, destructive, addictive pattern, behavior, maybe, an abusive way of being, harmful to yourself most likely. You're just giving into it and finding reasons why you need it, it's helping. And I think your advice here for many Aries is to give it up, to give up that addiction, to give up, if it's drinking, certainly to give up drinking. But no matter what the addiction is, to give up this Piscean way of handling it as well. The Hanged Man is a Pisces card. The Page of Cups is often a Pisces card for me. Yeah, because you know, overall really just need to show strength in being able to tame your animalistic desires, your very baser human desires. It looks like I'm talking to some Aries who have turned to this substance or this new attachment. It might even be a person, this new addiction after a failed relationship. Because what I see here is that a lack of commitment or a broken bond or love misunderstood is what is not helping you give up either the drinking or whatever addiction, whatever substance you've attached yourself to. You again, you like the altered state that it puts you into. Like I said, this Queen of Swords is in a lot of pain. You may need that. The Page of Cups in reverse as an advice card could also be encouraging you, Aries, to take a look at your insecurities at this time. You're moving out of an energy at the very beginning of September and then back in August. You're moving out of an energy of having had a fresh beginning, a brand new start. And there's an indication here that you were ready to take a risk. You may have been a fool for love. It's possible that the reason that some of you need to exhibit strength over an addiction at this time is because, like I said, it's when you turn to after a bond broke apart. That's why you're needing rest at this time, and it was so painful, I think, because you thought it was this big, fresh, new beginning, this major, significant, brand new start for you. This person, this relationship made you feel brand new. It gave you a new chance at maybe life for some of you, but certainly at the type of relationship that you had always wanted for some. Maybe it was a person that you'd been trying to make things work with for a very long time, and you decided to give it one more fresh start. Something of that nature. It was a very major, significant, fresh beginning. It was a new you, or a new both of you. But while the beginning was what you wanted it to be, the timing may have been right, and while you may have been a new you and they may have been a new them, in combination with one another, somehow it wasn't right. The two of you felt alone together. Now, it may have been because their finances could have created the type of hardships that complicated the relationship. That's possible for some, but I think for most, what this is leaning toward is that the two of you just felt alone together. You just didn't keep one another company. Maybe at some point you had, or you thought you had, but when it really came down to it, after this fresh start, this new beginning, and you were in this space alone together, you found that either the spark was gone or it just wasn't what you thought it was. And with the Two of Wands showing up as what you may be insecure about, which would also definitely be encouraging, encouraging is good enough. Encouraging this addiction is planning for the future. You may feel some insecurities around planning for the future, as so many of us do. You may have had a relationship with a someone you fancied as a twin flame in the past. Whether that term means as much to you now or not is not the point. If you fancied them as your quote-unquote twin, or even a false twin in the past, you may still be feeling insecure about the fallout from them. That may be why it didn't work with this new bond or partnership, or they may be one and the same. It is possible that you thought they were your twin at first, and then it turned out there was no real connection or chemistry later, and you realized, oh, that must have been a false twin, something like that. I'm not trying to make the reading all about twin flames, certainly. It's just what I see here as a potential for what's making you feel insecure, and or plans for the future, like I said, which plagues so many of us. Oh my. Some of you Aries just have an addictive behavior, or an addictive personality, which would absolutely fall in line with, like I said, choosing to deal with your addictions in a Piscean manner by justifying them, by seeing the beauty and going deeper into these altered states. And I speak on those things. I don't mean to be dismissive. I speak on those things as someone who absolutely understands there is value in experimenting with our consciousness and detaching from certain emotional states and viewing and inspecting them from altered states. Certainly, there's so much value there. The real freedom includes the freedom to experiment with one's consciousness. I'm not dismissing that, but we're talking about an unhealthy attachment and addiction. We're talking about taking that love of an altered state to an extent of never leaving it, taking it overboard, losing touch with what reality is, with who one is, without whatever this attachment addiction is. So for some, you just have an addictive personality. You're addicted to addictions. If it wasn't this addiction, you'd find some other one. It doesn't really matter which one we're talking about. Maybe because this is about having had to cut a partner, or people who were close to you, someone or someones who were very close to you, meant a lot to you, away from you, and you would turn to something no matter what it was. And then for some, the message is repeated that there's an addiction to a Capricorn, specifically. So this, your strength here, needing to tame your addictions, needing to tame your animalistic desires. Well, needing to tame your animalistic desires, care for your mind, body, and spirit, and so, in my mind, tame your addiction that we're looking at here, is something you need to do on your own. It's something that you need to do for yourself, by yourself. And now, I'm not saying you can't lean on someone, have support, ask for whatever assistance you need. I don't know what your specific situation is, but it does look like someone wants to offer you their support. Their love, yes, but maybe not romantic, maybe just a platonic, assistance of someone who does care for you and sees that you're struggling in this situation. So I'm not saying not to lean on them, but you have to decide to tame these animalistic desires, this addiction, for yourself. You have to decide to do it because you want to, right? Or it will never stick. You probably won't even be able to succeed to begin with. It certainly won't stick if it's the type of an addiction that hangs on. Again, don't know your specific situation, but there's the message here that it's the type of addiction that requires and doesn't each one rather, requires you to stand on your own, to make the decision for yourself. At least connect with the decisions why. Why do you need to best this desire, this this addiction of sorts, whatever it is? And then again, the Union card reversed, which this deck, the Dreams of Gaia Tarot deck, this beautiful deck has 81 cards, but I would definitely relate the Union card in this deck to the Lovers card in this other deck, even though they don't all translate exactly. As if to echo yet again, yes, you need to stand on your own. It may be that there is an offer of romantic love coming in that you cannot juggle at this time, while also having this addiction on your plate, this attachment that you need to move away from, forget about, best overcome, perhaps, depending on what exactly it is we're talking about. I think I need to differentiate. Yeah, if you're being offered love and support from family and friends who can help you overcome this, that's not something to turn down unless they are negative energies that will only serve to set you back, okay? But if it's a romantic love, that's something that you might want to consider that you don't really have space in your mind and heart for at this time. It looks like you see the truth, but you're not ready to do anything about a potentially harmful portion of your own truth, this addiction. And while you're battling and struggling with that, you're in a place where you need rest. It makes me a little nervous that you're this comfortable sitting in your addiction. You're feeling a little insecure. You're needing to practice standing on your own. There's a difference between standing on your own with friends and family around you or standing on your own with a partner next to you holding your hand, isn't there? Right? It's probably not time to replace an old addiction, an old codependency, an old addiction attachment to a person with a new one. It's probably, it would just be, I think, like a rebound, like a Band-Aid at this point, and probably won't help you in the long run, will probably set you back in the long run, no matter what the addiction is you're trying to overcome here in this spread. The Queen of Water is in your future. So, by the full moon, by the end of September, and certainly as you move into October, certainly by the time you're moving into October, you are in this energy. So you change from the Queen of Swords to the Queen of Water, from the Queen of Air to the Queen of Water, or the Queen of Swords to the Queen of Cups. But in the Dreams of Gaia Tarot, she is the Queen of Water here. She's loving, she's compassionate, and she is always kind. She's giving of herself to a fault. By having and maintaining healthy boundaries, this queen protects herself from becoming drained. So that's what's going to happen, is you're going to create boundaries to keep hopefully this addiction out, but certainly any people who and energies who influence the addiction out. She can often distinguish truth from falsehood, and see that's something that you've already accomplished in your Queen of Swords energy. She's ever romantic. Emotional honesty is key with this watery queen, as is her willingness to share our feelings, as is a willingness to share our feelings. When we share our true feelings, we make ourselves vulnerable, but to be willing to do so shows both courage and strength. She is the epitome of love in all of its forms, and she indicates that bright days are ahead. Of course, when you're feeling in this energy, when you're vibrating in that energy of love, you magnetize then that towards you. So that makes perfect sense. And we are over time, so we'll have to leave you there, Aries. Oh, also I see with the Fool, in the past here, you're coming out of an energy of feeling very much like yourself. So probably before you had to cut many things away from you, and I'm sure that's something that happened to you with eclipse season. You felt like you were in your element. You felt like you could express yourself authentically. You felt like you were being genuine, and you were being showing people who you really were. And then came this period of time after the eclipse, or during the eclipses, and maybe thereafter a little, where you had to cut away all these people and energies, and activities, maybe things out of your life that had helped define that person who felt very much like you. And that's part of the insecurity that you're feeling as well, and part of the resistance and hesitancy to be able to plan for the future. You're not feeling as much like yourself. You're not recognizing yourself in your life after having cut so much of it away, even though you know that you saw the truth and did the right thing. And it may be that may be a big part of why you now have to address in September a codependent situation. You may have no choice but to deal with that, because you can't help but see that truth, because you're not even feeling like yourself. Maybe that's why the two of you feel alone together. Your life's not what it was, and you're not who you were before you cut those things away, so you don't match that partner anymore, maybe, or it's unavoidable, but to recognize that it was always maybe a codependent type of attachment. Now, that's not for all Aries. That's just for some. Sometimes I do that at the very end. I'll throw in an added extra message like that. That's just for a few. It came through at the end, and I couldn't help it. But now we're way over time. So, Aries, I really loved reading for you, and I really appreciate your likes on this video and your subscribes to this channel. Please do so if you haven't already. Thank you so much. I do hope that everyone took something away from this reading that they didn't come to it with. And also thank you to all of those who comment and share and message me with kind words. All of that is truly appreciated as well. A special thank you goes to those of you who have donated and purchased readings from me. I'm truly grateful for our energy exchanges. And if you are interested in a personal reading and aren't familiar with my services yet, check the description of the video below, and you'll see all of my options there. My email is LunarticksTarot@gmail.com. So all you have to do if you need a free personal reading from me is just send your request to that email address. There is a 4-week wait time currently, so do be prepared for that. And once we get to 6 weeks, I will probably stop taking requests for those. So be prepared for that as well. I'll need a break just to catch up at least. And in the meantime, there's also a great alternative now, the $10 quick fix reading. So you'll see that in the description box below if you're interested. Otherwise, I also put up a Virgo season reading that is for the collective. It's for all signs, any sign. And that is more free content that's available right now if that's what you're looking for. I love you very much, and I will post another tarot fix for you just as soon as I can, Aries.